There are all types of album covers in the world. There are tall album covers, short album covers, interesting album covers, and boring album covers, but there's nothing quite like heavenly album covers. I was watching this podcast this morning, actually. I was doing a bunch of stuff today, and I took some time out and I started to listen to this podcast. It was an interview podcast with Pete Townshend from The Who, and Pete Townshend is currently still promoting that big deluxe box set of Who's Next, and the interviewer was talking to him, and the topic of the song My Generation came up, and specifically the line, I hope I die before I get old. And the revelation of this interview was that Pete Townshend said that people have misinterpreted that line, I hope I die before I get old. In fact, Pete Townshend said that when he was younger, when he was a pre-teenager, he always wanted to be a dye master. He always loved dyeing things. He always liked to change the colors of clothing, and he liked to dye his hair, and he liked to dye rugs, and he always dreamed of being a dye master. And so that lyric fragment was in reference to his desire to be a master of dyeing, D-Y-E. So he always hoped that he would die before he got old and became a master dyeing person. So we have a bunch of albums to go through, so we're just going to jump right in. We're going to limit the informational background on a lot of these albums and try to zip through them. Just look at the covers themselves and try not to talk about the music part of it. Everybody has opinions about music, and in the long run, it doesn't really matter, because opinions are just opinions, and music is just music, and it should be enjoyed no matter what it is. And here are the Lindstrom kids. The lighting is pretty bad in here. This is still in the shrink wrap. $1.98 originally. It's really good shrink wrap, and we'll take it off. We'll be able to look at this a little bit better. This album is called At the London Bridge. And there they are. They look a little better now. It looks like they're at the London Bridge in, not London, but they moved the London Bridge to Lake Havasu at some point in the 1960s or 70s. And it's not even the real London Bridge. It's actually a different bridge. But here are the Lindstrom kids, and they're not really kids, but they are kind of balancing on a light fixture. There's the bridge, some sort of bridge. There's some water. They're both dressed up really colorfully. This Lindstrom kid has white patent leather shoes. She's got a white belt. They look very mod and delightful. Here they are. I can't find their names. Oh, there they are. Rod and Marianne Lindstrom. I'm not sure why they're called the kids. They're fully grown adults. Here they are. Looks like Rod plays keyboards and Marianne sings. Here they are coming out of a pub. And it looks like they do cocktail lounge standards. Kansas City. I've got a brand new pair of roller skates. You've got a brand new key. Secondhand rose. I left my heart in San Francisco. And so those are the Lindstrom kids hanging out. And I'm not sure what the label looks like. It's on Mimrod Records. Not Nimrod, but Mimrod. Nice, kind of a custom package here. Next is a record I almost didn't get because it looked kind of not that exciting, but I really like the hamburger, the big hamburger that George Washington is riding on across the Potomac, or maybe he's in the Atlantic Ocean somewhere. And this is an album by the New York rock ensemble. It's called Freedomburger, which is a great title for an album. And there's George Washington, and here's my pointer, and they're making their way across some sort of body of water. Looks like they're cutting through some Antarctic icebergs here, and it's just a delightful cover. Really nice illustration by someone named Paul Davis, and there it is, a little bit bigger. And I never had a New York rock ensemble album in our collection here, but here they are. I don't know who they are. I can't be bothered right now to find out their names. Looks like they're on a pile of black and white French fries. They all look very fierce, and I think that's New York behind them. Maybe this is the Hudson Bay or something. And so this was produced by John McCULLOUGH, and a few of the names look familiar, but we can get into that maybe next year. But that's Freedomburger on Columbia. It's got the Columbia red label there. Don't have to take it out of the case here. And next up is an album, a pretty well-known album. I'm going to see if I can back this up a little bit. There we go. This album is called Flight Final. And here's the flight, the final flight. It's on Interworld Airlines on the side here. It looks kind of like a SST or a Concorde, and it's shooting up into the sky. I can get a little closer here. And it's very late and it's very cold here, wherever we are tonight. And this is a well-known spiritual Christian album. It is a dramatic audio play of what it would be like to take your final flight to the world of death and dying. Not the Pete Townshend kind of dying, but real dying. And so there's all sorts of sound effects. The album makes it sound like you're actually on this airplane going to heaven or hell, and it's very exciting, very ingenious, really. It's this album has lasted the times. It's this album came out a long time ago, and it still affects people. And here are the people that put it together. Looks like this was written and produced by FORREST, McCULLOUGH, Evangelist. The lighting is very interesting tonight. Sometimes things look good and sometimes they don't. And let's stop talking about this and let's see if we can play it a little bit.
Most everyone talking, some praying, some laughing, with only a few people acting as if they were paying any attention to the announcement. They're making ready to leave on this flight. Who are these that were listening to the dispatcher and responding? Well, with close observation, we notice that each one of them has a ticket in his hand. Sir, could I see your ticket for just a moment, so that I can tell our audience about a...
I will meet you in the morning. Interworld Airlines flight FINAL is in the final boarding process. All passengers holding space on flight FINAL should be at the gate ready for boarding.
So that's Flight Final. You can get the general idea there. It's interesting that there was a full choir on this airplane as it was heading towards doom and destruction. And I got to show the label of this. It's an absolutely amazing looking label. I'm making a lot of noise, but that's okay. And this is the Flight Final label. It's just really nice. It looks like something you'd put on a button or on the front of a car. There's an airplane there, and it's just got blue and silver going on. And this is a fun record. I think it's findable anywhere on the internet. You can find it somewhere. As I throw the records on the ground. And here's a group. I had to buy this. I absolutely had to buy this because This is some sort of bird with a woman's head placed on it. This is way before Photoshop, so this was done just graphically with pen and paper probably. And it's a beautiful bird shape here with looks like spray paint cans, some splotchy crayon markings. And this is an album by the Patterson Singers. And the more I looked at this, the more I really had to have it. It's just highly unusual, Captain. It's very illogical, and it's on Atco. And here's the woman. She's just real happy. She's one of the singers, I believe, on the back. And here's the Patterson Singers. They do a lot of upbeat soul, little funky, recorded in Muscle Shoals. If you want to get your shoals to have more muscles, you go to Muscle Shows. And there they are. There's 5 people. I'm assuming, I might be wrong, but this is probably Patterson, or they are the Pattersons. This might be the Patterson family, sisters and a brother, or a dad and mother and sisters, some sort of family arrangement. And we got this, looks like the standard, looks like a promo. It's a sample copy label, so it's worth about 30 cents more than a normal copy. Came out in 1972, and I will drop it on the floor here. We have a couple of more records and record covers, album covers. We like to call record covers album covers. It's more professional. And here's an album. I debated whether to actually show this, but there's nothing on the cover that's really too naughty or wrong or censorable, I don't think. I almost dropped the light there, but now the light is better. And this is an album, a stereo album. Cost $5.98 originally, and it's in stereo. It's by Rudy Ray Moore, and it's called Eat Out More Often. There's the cover, and there's Rudy Ray Moore. Maybe if I leave my hand here a little bit, it'll obscure things. And there's a woman here. Her name is Vicky. She's a famous go-go girl, it says here. And this was produced by Tony and Rudy Ray. And there's music on here by the Fillmore Street Soul Rebellion. This was edited by Rudy Ray Moore. And the cover photograph is by Fred Hollywell. And this is on the Comedians Incorporated Personality Series. And I don't know much about Rudy Ray Moore. I know he put out a lot of albums. I think there's even a few documentaries about him. But maybe if I keep the cover moving, it won't get us in trouble here. But looks like, maybe if I hold my pointer up here, Rudy Ray is just, these two have either finished doing something or they're about to do something, and it's kind of a, they're in a sitting room, but they're not sitting, and there's some fruit here. Her long gown has kind of fallen off. Rudy is either naked or he has a very nice looking bodysuit on, and there are various things around the edge here, just little like astrological signs and pieces of fruit and things. There's a very small thing that says Underground Series, adults only. I can barely read that. And that's Rudy Ray Moore. And the label's a nice shade of orange, and it's on, all the material is copyright by Moore Tone Music, as I'm once again losing my voice because I haven't talked in a few days. And this is Dolomite stuff, and it's out there. Rudy Ray had a nice approach to life. He just said what was on his mind, and that's the way he got through life. So that was Eat Out More Often. I grabbed this one at the last minute. just because it's something we wouldn't usually show, and we haven't shown this, I'm sure. In fact, I went through a lot of albums, not records. I went through a lot of albums today and sorted things out, and we have quite a few new, never before placed on this channel albums to show. Just dozens and dozens, and they're all organized now, so we can just go through those albums that I organized really quickly and have a lot of fun. So this is David HAAS, a little bit crooked, so I'll do that. And this looks like some sort of partial watercolor painting. Lots of colors oozing around. There is an artist's name down here. I can't read it. The top lettering is vibrating. It's a very vivid red on a very light gray. There's a really tiny lighter gray line that separates the top from the bottom, almost like an old-time matchbook. And the album is called I Am Yours Today, David HAAS. And I have never really looked at this album closely before. I always assumed it was like a soft pop rock album, but it is a Christian Jesus album. And we've got the same bright red on the gray. This came out in 1983, which is a great year for everything. And it came out on Cooperative Ministries Incorporated. I don't know what's inside. I think there's a drawing inside of David HAAS. I keep thinking about Rudy Ray Moore now, and that bodysuit he was wearing on that cover. HAAS, David HAAS, I Am Yours Today. And this looks almost Xerox, but not quite. It's this would look really great blown up about 8 feet tall by 4 feet wide. It